The Revolutionary Guard just purchased the largest mobile phone provider. Was that it? In Iran.
Okay, so actually, I think I should repeat the questions or the comments. The Revolutionary Guards purchased the biggest, telco in Iran. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that, sorry, for the stream.
Just a quick question. Can you confirm that, on Android, if you indeed have a GPS fix, that it still sends over the Wi-Fi information together with the latitude and longitude to the server?
So if I understood you correctly, if I can confirm that the handheld will send the GPS information together with the
information about the
BSSIDs.
Yeah, etc.
Okay, if it sends that, essentially yes, because you can just check it yourself, either by SSL man in the middle attack or going to the website and reading about it.
Okay, because to me it wasn't so sure. If I'm a user, I do get the case when I don't have a GPS fix if I'm indoors, for example.
Yes,
that the phone is kind of sending this information to the server. But on the other hand, if I do have a GPS fix, that would be totally awkward.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So the question is if this GPS information is also transmitted when you're indoor, and if it's actually necessary to send the GPS, send the information when you're outdoor and you have the GPS information anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's maybe not necessary for your phone, but it's really practical for the servers.
Okay. And the second question was
it's called fine-tuning of the database.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second question was this BSSIDs. Is there any technical reasons why these strings are used? Because I mean they're not unique at all, and not. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't they use MAC addresses or something?
Essentially, it is like a MAC address. So the question is why are BSSIDs used? Because they're not unique at all. Yes, you can also change MAC addresses and make them non-unique, but the BSSID is also 48 bits, like a MAC address, and it's pretty unique. Yeah.
Right.
Actually, the Google Location API is using both the BSSID and the ESSID, so both MAC address and network name are uploaded to Google's database.
Okay, so that makes it more precise even? Okay, I didn't know that.
I don't have a real question. I just have I noticed that when you try to locate your own laptop using the Loki service, you by accident get the data who is currently or recently moved to your area because of you trying to map all the BSSIDs which are around you and try to ask Loki where are they. Then you will experience some BSSIDs which are reported of being some kilometers away, so it's a safe guess to say these people recently moved into my area. Just to think about it.
Okay, so I repeat. So, no, okay, it's okay. I don't have to repeat. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, and did you have problems hearing me? And another option might be, I don't know. I mean, I just came to the idea it would result in a kind of DOS attack to Loki, but I mean, generate every BSSID and ask for the location.
I think
shouldn't that free the database in some kind?
I had the same thought, but again, I mean, you're on the other hand, you're disturbing a service which actually has some value for people.
Of course, I mean, it's always a two-sided sword.
Right, the sword is always two-sided. So I guess my estimate would be that they would detect that unless you really hide it, I don't know, from a botnet or whatever. It would be rather easy to detect that with some fraud detection algorithm that this IP address is asking all the BSSIDs. And you could even optimize that because you could say, okay, this Wi-Fi card usually only uses this MAC address or BSSIDs are in place, and you only vary the bits at the end.
Yeah, and of course it would only make sense for a short period of time because the location will change for a certain amount of BSSIDs, of course.
But the question is, should we actually start a public database like that ourselves? crowdsourcing, but on a more democratic basis. Yeah.
Okay. Did you do some research or inquiry with Skyhook or Navizon services, wherever they have a form by which you can ask them if your personal BSSID or some BSSID you know belongs to you or your organization, and submit an abuse or removal request? And as a second part, are there any legal procedures or tools that you can take upon against these services, because the data of your BSSID was collected without your consent, right? So is there any way to try to recover? On their site or maybe by mail? Or, and second is
I didn't find it, but that's why I also want to talk about this, publicly, because maybe it's enough if there is a service, an opt-out service for that. Maybe not, or maybe we need an opt-in service. But then, how do they ask all those people? Maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. It's. I think to answer that question, we really need to sit down with lawyers who take a look at the data protection laws in Europe, especially, and discuss if this use of the BSSIDs without consent is actually okay or not. And I'm not sure if I can answer that. Yeah? But I just did.
Did you try Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, legal advice?
No, not yet. But I think it should be done. Yeah.
Hi. So just a little background history on Skyhook. Skyhook Wireless was actually started about, I think, 2 years ago, and their main target was doing their WSD system for truckers. Instead of using very costly GPS technology, they would have a simple computer with an AP in it, and the AP would get wireless access, MAC addresses, and SSIDs to triangulate position. Their original means to get location information for SSIDs was paying people to war drive for them. And you can, they used to have a form on their website. You can sign up. If you had all your own equipment, they would send you a check for new entries in their database. I'm curious if you know of if they're still doing that, if this whole new smartphone era is slowly replacing their need and necessity for paying people to war drive.
I think it's still being done, because if you just look back at the map, there are huge areas which are not really covered. Just look at this map here, and look, somebody was driving through Poland up to Latvia. You can really see it. Yeah, this was a person driving through. And if you take a look at their webpage, this still exists. But of course, it's really massively enhanced by this crowdsourcing aspect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think doing a technical approach to protect our privacy would not help in this way. I think we should clearly recognize that a company like, for example, Apple asks us, or the applications need to ask us to send location data to Apple or to the application, and they do not ask us about our phone sending location information to Apple. So basically there's a different view, I think, for example, for these applications and the phone data itself. So the phone sends geo information without asking us, but the applications are not allowed to send geo data without asking us. So I think we should clearly vote for some kind of jurisdictional or rights question to clear up the rights question, and to just force them to ask us before if we would allow to source them our data.
I think I want to add to that statement, to that comment, is that yes, even if they ask us, I think I had something here, even if